Good evening and welcome to another edition of Black Press USA and NNPA's Fire Program. We are going to start the program off with acknowledgement and an update for those of you that may not have heard that the death toll from the aftermath of Hurricane Ida that passed through the Northeast, specifically in New York and New Jersey yesterday, the death toll is up to 47. 23 of those victims are from the state of New Jersey alone. There's 4,400 people in New Jersey that are without power. There are a large number of vehicles that are scattered across a section of the state that were just abandoned because people were trying to get out of these floodwaters. So we're going to keep you up to date with this story. Again, our prayers go out to the family members. I know rescue crews are working and have been working around the clock to find out those who are in homes and try to get them out. And they're actually doing that by boat. Can you imagine that? Both New York and New Jersey are under a state of emergency. So we're going to keep you up to date with that. But transitioning now to our guest who is joining us. Yes, her name is Javon Harley, and she is the co-founder of Advantage International. Javon, thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, Javon, full disclosure, I've known Javon, I guess we can say 20 years now, and I've traveled with her company. When I thought about doing this show, I couldn't think of having anyone else. You and your husband, Gene, who's with you but not on camera, have been doing this for a number of years. And I just want to really tell you I appreciate that. And I love what it is that you do. And I want to share that with people because people are still traveling. You're still doing this. So how long have you and your husband really been showing people the world?
Well, Advantage International, our company, started in 1998. So from that time, you're talking about 22 years. However, I was in the travel industry 15 years before that. So I've been in the travel industry for many years.
So how has COVID affected your business?
Well, it has greatly affected my business. Obviously, it affected the entire world. It affected the entire industry. So we had a trip in February of 2020 going to Fiji, and we returned the end of February, and 2 weeks later, the entire world shut down to travel. And it's just really getting back. A lot of people have done some independent travel, but for the most part, people are still a little, I would say, careful, cautious about travel. But people are getting back out there. I mean, there's been a pent up wanderlust for a year and a half now.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us a little bit about, because I see your hashtag traveling while Black. Talk to us about that.
Yes. Well, Traveling While Black is our marketing brand. It's because it's who we are. It's because it's who our travelers are. And we've had travelingwhileblack.com for more than 20 years and we never used it. We really just pointed the URL to our website, advantage-intl.com. And in late 2019, we decided to start using it independently as a marketing brand because it is who our clients are. We primarily focus on the African American traveler, the affluent African American traveler.
So tell us really what separates you. I mean, you just mentioned who your target audience is, but is that what separates you? I think there's more to it, but what would you say separates you from other travel agencies?
I certainly think that that's the number one thing, but the other thing that I think separates us is that we focus on immersive cultural experiences. We want people to really experience the destination, the people, the food, the culture, the arts, the music, anything that's going to define the culture of a destination. And we have immersive experiences. As you said, you've traveled with us, so you've had some of those experiences.
I absolutely have. I can't forget. So Egypt was breathtaking. Greece was incredible. Greece was
Yes.
amazing, the experiences. And with Egypt, flipping back, with Egypt, some families who wanted to pay for it, or I guess you could say add that to their package, we got to eat with the family and eat what they ate and sit in their home. I thought that that was just a really bonding experience, and I loved visiting the country.
And we find that when our travelers return or when we're just sitting around and sharing stories and experiences, that's the number one thing that people talk about are those immersive experiences that they have, like the home hosted dinners, because it's not just going to a restaurant, it is having dinner with a family in their home. They've cooked the meal, you meet their family, they're meeting you, and you're exchanging each other's information and stories, and you get to know more about each other. I think we can all reduce a lot of bigotry if we can take a moment and learn about each other in that way.
Absolutely. So I think it's important that I point out that if you see the lights behind her, and if you're wondering, she has a lot of energy, but I believe that you're in Croatia and it's what, one something in the morning?
Yes, it is. I'm 6 hours ahead of Eastern time. And yes, behind me is Dubrovnik. We just arrived today, actually. We're on a 7 night chartered large yacht or small cruiser, only 18 cabins. We started in
Oh,
Split,
wow.
Croatia, and we've been in and out visiting different islands and along the coast of Croatia. Croatia is an archipelago, along with being a coastal Mediterranean destination. So we've been visiting some of those islands and other coastal towns. And so now we are in our last stop, which is Dubrovnik, and we have tonight and tomorrow night here.
So Croatia is north of Greece and to the east of Italy?
Yes, and actually on a clear day and on one of the islands or a couple of the islands here, you can actually see the mountains of Italy.
Oh my
It's a
goodness.
Mediterranean destination, and a lot of people don't realize that Croatia is a Mediterranean destination. The food here is amazing. The
Is it
wine here is amazing. Every family that we've met since we've been here produce their own wine. Their olive
really?
oil is amazing. The entire country is practically farm to table, and
Wow.
that's what makes the food as wonderful as it is. And here's a piece of information that many people don't know, and that is the American grape that we call Zinfandel actually originated here in Croatia. They did DNA on the grape and the variety and found out that it's actually a grape that originated here in Croatia called Plavik Mali. And that's what it's called here. But it has, if you love Zinfandel, you'll love that here as well.
Well, let me tell you, until I went to Greece, olive oil and eating olives, which I enjoyed eating olives. You do not know what it really tastes like until you're there to taste how it's so rich and it's just so flavorful. And look, I go to the grocery stores to buy, olive oil from Greece, and it's just not the same. It's just not the same.
It is not the same. I tell you, we have gone on about three different olive oil tastings, and they're infused with different flavors from sage to basil to chilies and lemon. And we've also done honey tasting. We visited a honey farm as well,
Oh, wow.
learned a whole lot about bees. And something very interesting that we saw and learned here is they have these wasps that eat meat. I mean, we were
What?
outside dining, and one day we had steak, and one day we had prosciutto. And in both cases, they came down and they would carve out a little piece and then fly off. And I had never seen that before.
Me either. So I'm just going to ask as a sidebar. So do they sting as well? Humans?
Well, they do. They do
Okay.
sting as well, but they're different than the honeybees, which are
Okay.
more mild and will only go after you if you're attacking the hive. Yeah.
Sure. What is Croatia known for? Because when you told me that, I'm like, I actually had never thought of that as a destination place.
Well, all of the things that we've just talked about. It's a Mediterranean destination. It's known for its islands. It's known for its coastal towns. Zagreb is interior. It's the mountains. But they are certainly known for the Caribbean. I'm sorry, not the Caribbean, but the Mediterranean lifestyle.
So I know one of the things that I enjoyed in traveling with you in the past is that every place that we went to, people were just really open arms with us. And you really seemed to package it from, 4 and 5-star hotels and, private yachts that were taking us. We did the Nile when I went to Egypt with you, which was just breathtaking.
And certainly when you ask what are the things that set us apart, those are the experiences that we look for. And we come to a destination and we curate an itinerary and a program based on the history of our clients and what they like to do. So I came here in March, actually before the country even opened. I got a letter from the
Wow.
Minister of Tourism so that I could come on business and so I can see the ship, so that I can experience some of the tours and programs, and so that I could pick and choose what we wanted to put together for our programs. We do that type of curating of a destination.
Javon, do you and your husband or you go on every trip with your clients?
Most of the programs that we do, yes, it depends on who the client is and what their ask is.
Sure.
Most of our clients like for us to be there as a total inclusive package, and that means an escort or tour manager from start to finish. Even though we work with partners on the ground, then
Mhm.
we work with them, we work with the client, and we're there to hold their hand every step of the way. And we like for people to think that when they travel with us, you really go on vacation. And that means mentally you go on vacation as well. And you don't have to think about any of the details.
I think that's another thing that was really enjoyable. You did have a detailed agenda, but if you didn't want to go, you didn't have to go.
Absolutely. We always say these are the things that are included, but nothing is mandatory except, of course, for entry requirements.
So what are the safety protocols that you are required or that you do, because COVID is still very much an issue for countries?
Well, the first thing is you're going to have to check the country and to see what is required to enter. Do you
Okay.
have to be vaccinated? If not, you're going to have to more than likely take a COVID test and have or present a negative COVID test to enter
Okay.
the country. And that's usually a time frame before departure, whether that's anywhere from 48 to 96 hours ahead. Some countries require that you fill out a health document or health form before entering. Croatia required us to do that as well.
Okay.
So those are the protocols and the requirements that we had to do prior to coming to Croatia. And then returning home, we have to take a COVID test and
Okay.
produce a negative COVID test. Now with Croatia, if you are vaccinated, you did not have to present a negative COVID test. You can just come as a vaccinated traveler. But returning home, whether you're vaccinated or not, the United States requires that you produce a negative test. And that could be a rapid test or a PCR test. And
Okay.
the difference is, one takes longer
The
and is
lab,
more expensive.
the
The
PCR,
lab work
yes.
takes longer, but it
Mhm.
also takes longer. But the rapid test, they have them at the airports that you can take just before your flight.
Oh, that's very, very convenient. So I haven't traveled, obviously, where they had to do that. I did a couple myself, so it's good to know that the airports are providing that. So now, with this trip to Croatia, what have you been doing? I know that you're on the yacht now and you're docked, but what have you been doing, and how long have you been there?
Well, we've been eating a lot since we started. We started in Split on August 28th. So we've been here nearly a week. We're 7 nights cruising, and then we're extending for 3 nights in Dubrovnik, which is where we are now. So some of us, once we get off the small cruiser, we're then going to check into a hotel here. We have been, as he said, wine tasting, olive oil tasting. We visited a bee farm. We've been swimming. We've been cruising. We've been hiking. And going back to we've been eating, because this is a destination that you really want to taste the cuisine, because the food is just as much a part of the culture as all of the other things that I talked about.
Well, you know what? This is the perfect time to segue into our producer bringing up. You sent us a number of images. So I want people to see some of the places that you've been, some of the people that have traveled with you. So I'm going to have Norman. Okay, so I know where this country is, but I'm going to let you tell us. So each of them, take it away.
Yes, well, this is South Africa. It's actually Cape Town, South Africa. We go over to Robben Island, and there's a place, of course, that's framed out where you can get behind the frame and take a photo, and you have Cape Town in the backdrop.
Just beautiful.
Now, when talking about some of our cultural experiences, here we are in Dubai, and excuse me, but I don't have my glasses on, so I'm squinting here. And this is a cultural ambassador.
Oh, wow.
And this particular one, if you look closely, you'll see some falcons there. And this is at the Falcon Hospital because they are very important to the culture there. And so they tell us about their habitat and all about the culture, all about the falcons. Now, this is an iconic statue. It's Christ the Redeemer in Brazil on top of a mountain called Corcovado. So many people have been there, and it's Christ the Redeemer statue with arms open wide in Rio de Janeiro below. Going on safari again in South Africa. Yeah, we were in, oh my goodness. So we usually go to Pilanesberg, but in this particular case, we were in Ilangani National Park. And you'll see this person here. Is that Doug Banks? That is Doug Banks, who's no longer with us, but I'm sure you know. And we had the honor to take him and his listeners from all over the United States to South Africa. We had a wonderful time.
Wow. Oh, look at this. This reminds me of Egypt when we did our dinner. Okay. Wow.
This is a dinner in Zimbabwe at Victoria Falls area.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, and we had drumming that night. Wonderful. Okay, this is Lalibela in Ethiopia. So the cross that you see there is actually a monastery below ground, a church below ground. And so you can actually go down and around the area there and enter the place of worship as well. But this is on top. This is the part that it's above the ground. But yes, Lalibela in Ethiopia. And I believe this one is India.
Yes.
Yes, this is India. This is one of the WHUR World Tour trips that we did. And that's in Agra. Yes, that's in Agra, India.
That's beautiful.
Well, if you see, this is leaning. So this is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. We tried to get everybody in, but as you can see here, I don't know if you all can see, but they're tops of heads, but there are some of the travelers there. But yes, that's the Leaning Tower of Pisa that you can still climb up. Although I don't know how much longer you can do that because it is still leaning. It's actually sinking more and more.
Oh, what a treasure.
Yes. In Egypt. And this is a Sphinx, but it's not the one near the pyramids. I'm trying to remember the area further out, but it's outside of Cairo, about an hour or so drive, but one of the ancient sites in Egypt. This is in Japan.
Oh my goodness.
And yes, I forget the name of this particular building, but this is in Japan.
That is beautiful.
I think Kyoto. I think the city is Kyoto. This is one of my favorite photos. We went to a village in the Volta region of Ghana, and I was trying to take a selfie, and all of these little boys ran up on me and nearly knocked me over, and that's why I'm laughing so hard. And they're trying to take the picture on the phone. So yeah, it was a very candid shot. It was hilarious.
I love it. I love it. You see curiosity, you see happiness, you see excitement. I love that. And your eyes, the way you're gleaming. So I had to put that into the role that we had here. I was like, I just love that.
And this was during a naming ceremony. That's why we went to the region.
Okay.
Yeah. And on safari again, in South Africa, this is another region in South Africa. We've been on many safaris. Yes, we do. We have been so lucky. I would say every time we've gone, we've seen wildlife Most times we've seen 4 of the big 5. There have been a few times where we've seen 5 of the big 5, but we
Wow.
always see at least 3 of the big 5. Yeah,
That's a big deal.
it is.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
This is another place that's very special. It's Robben Island, and it's a place where Nelson Mandela and many other political prisoners were held during the apartheid, and it's now a museum. So we take a ferry over from the port of Cape Town over to Robben Island. And again, in South Africa, I have a lot of pictures there. And this is one of our communities. We always do a community event. And this is one of the school programs, and we donate to schools when we go, and we make it part of the group experience. So it's not just a matter of donating and you never see where it goes to. It's an entire day. We visited the church, we visit the schools, and we meet the children as well.
Oh, look at
Yes.
this.
This is outside of one of the communities that we've visited as well, just having fun. Sometimes when they see the buses coming in, they greet us, and we all are greeted with music, and we all get out and start dancing with everyone. It's just such a wonderful time.
Wow, I love it. I just love it.
Yes.
Now, what is this?
Oh my goodness. Is
You're in the
this
water.
Australia? I think this is
Yeah.
Australia. This is the Great Barrier Reef, and we're about to go out. Yeah, this is the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh my goodness, I would love to. Oh, I was wondering as a baby shark. I've always wanted to be in a tank with, or around a shark in water, and just, of course, protecting myself. But I didn't know what that was in the water.
It's actually one of on my bucket list things is to do a great white shark dive.
Yes,
And you're in a
yes.
cage.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I say that too,
Yeah.
and everyone I know says I wouldn't do it, but I'm with you, Javon. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Now, this is here in the United States. It's the Whitney Plantation in New
Okay.
Orleans. Yes, it had one of the most highest number of living descendants of the enslaved that were here at the Whitney Plantation. It is a phenomenal site to visit. And this again is at the Whitney Plantation, and it's it's a depiction of the brutality of the plantation and how they would cut off some of the brutality that the enslaved had to succumb to, especially those who revolted or tried to run away.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and again, some more pictures from the Whitney Plantation.
It just makes it so real when you can see it like this, that they were able
Yes.
to preserve it the way they did.
Yes, yes, and again, just more of the Whitney Plantation. What I love about the Whitney Plantation is it's a self-guided tour, and
Okay.
you have headsets, and it's recorded, and the different sites are numbered. And so you can stay as long as you want at each one and replay the recording of that particular location. You can stop and contemplate. They have different areas. This is one of the churches there. They have contemplation areas, reflection areas, but each site has a number and an audio explanation of what's there. And I love that it's self-guided, because when you're in a place like this, it is very personal.
Sure.
And sometimes you want your personal space, and sometimes you want to go at your own pace. So I really love how they've curated the museum here.
What about that wall we just saw up there? It looks like there's names.
Yes, those are names. As I mentioned, they have one of the largest numbers of people who can trace their families back to the Whitney Plantation. So these are the names of those who were enslaved there. And many of them, actually, the director who I interviewed when I was there is a descendant of one of the enslaved there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you actually have a Facebook club, am I correct, of people who want to travel and connect with you and find out what it is that you're doing. Can we talk a little bit about that, or get more information so people can connect with you that way?
Absolutely. Traveling While Black, again, our marketing brand. So our Facebook page is and group is travelingwhileblack.com. And it's a great place to share your travel experiences, to ask questions and get recommendations and information about destinations that you're thinking about going to. We'll be doing some Facebook Lives with information. We did one just before we left talking about traveling in the time of COVID and all of the things that you want to know about it. Yeah, it's a great place to share and a great place for a travel community and family to hang out.
Normally, how long are your trips?
It depends on the destination. So something
Oops.
like a domestic destination may be 4 or 5 nights, where a international destination may be anywhere from 7 to 10 nights, and sometimes even longer for people who want to do extensions. Because a lot
Mhm.
of people say, for example, I'm in the area, I might as well go here, like going to
Right.
South Africa with an extension to Victoria Falls. Or like here, majority of the people who are doing majority of the travelers who are with me who are doing the 7 night cruise decided, let me do the extension to Dubrovnik and stay the extra 3 nights and learn a little bit more about that destination.
Now, I also believe that you have actually a group of people who've been traveling with you every single year for years. Is that true?
It is very true, and I absolutely love it. And even here on, Croatia, when people are seeing each other, and this time especially, it's like I haven't seen you since 2019 or early
Right.
2020, or remembering which trip. I think I met you on the Fiji trip, or I think I met you on the Greece trip. We actually have a couple here on the Croatia trip who met on the Greece trip that you went on. They are now engaged to be married.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Are you serious? That's amazing. Oh, wow. Now
Yes.
that has to put a smile on your face. That Greece trip would make anyone want to get married. That was
Yeah.
just incredible. The food, the people, the weather, the
Yeah.
water. It was
Yeah.
just
But yeah, we have some people who've traveled with us for the 22 years that we've been in business, and they go every year. And some people who go with us multiple times in a year, and there's some people who go with us every other year. So it really is up to the traveler, but it really warms my heart that they want to experience the world with us.
yeah, and it truly is an experience. So I've got a number of people that text me while you were talking. So they wanted to know, can they reach out to you and plan their personal group trip? And then I had other one or two that said, well, it's just me. Can I join with the trip that you're planning?
Well, absolutely, to both of those questions.
Okay.
Yes, if you have a family trip or small group that you want to put together for yourself, I would absolutely love to do that for you. And then also, any trip that you see posted on our website is open to the public. So whenever you sign up for our newsletter, sign up for our Facebook group, and you get notified on any of the upcoming trips that we have. And if, as I said, if it's posted on our website, you're welcome to join.
Javon, what trips are you working on now?
Oh, I'm so excited because 2022, 2023 are going to be those YOLO years, the boom years, because we have all this pent up wanderlust.
Yes.
We have Ghana coming up at the end of January of 2022. We have Dubai for the Dubai Expo coming up
Oh
at
my
the end of
goodness.
February.
I enjoyed my trip. I
Yes.
can't imagine being, that is one trip. If you don't do anything in life, please go to Dubai.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's going to have a Maldives optional extension.
Oh
So
my
if you want to
goodness.
go to the Maldives, we have some over the water bungalows, and we're staying at a property that's a one island, one property. So there's only that property on that island. So what we're doing now, we're considering a bubble trip, semi-bubble, because we're on a private yacht. Nobody else is on here. It's just our group. And
Yes.
the same with the Maldives. It's a bubble because it's one island, one resort. We also have Fiji coming up again in
Oh,
April, and we have Spain, and we're doing Black Spain. I have connected with a Black professor who does Black studies, and so we're
okay.
tracing Black history from the Moors to also the enslaved, because Spain were one of the early enslaved or colonizers, I should say. So we're going to infuse Black history, both from the Moors when they ruled Spain for hundreds of years, to the enslaved as well. So that's going to be in October. And then also we're going back to Greece.
When?
We're going back to Greece in September. So this time we're going to mix it up a little bit and go to Crete and Athens.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm telling you, I to this day I'm still talking about the Greece trip and just the experience. And you guys do such a great job hosting. I mean, we know that you're there, but we really don't. I mean, if that makes any sense, like we if we need something, we can turn and find you. But if not, we can just wander. It's just such a great experience. So with this, what if there's a person who only travels first class and other people are like, no, I mean, does everyone have to travel the same way as far as first class or, okay.
No, as a matter of fact, on this particular trip, we had more than half of the people who bought business class tickets.
Okay.
The accommodations here, this is a 5-star ship. And also we're staying in a 5-star hotel. So most of our programs are designed with 5-star accommodations. On occasion, it's 4-star only if the client requests it. But for the most part, they're always 5-star accommodations. And yes, you can always upgrade your package to include business or first class air and even suites at the properties that we're offering in the package.
So you can really tailor it. You give them one price with what's included. And then if they want to step up or maybe a step down on one or two things, that option is available to them. And Javon Harley, how can they get additional information again about Advantage International?
Yes, it's advantage-intl.com. That's the website, and there you can get access to all of our brands.
Normally, how many trips do you do a year? Because you've just ran down some incredible places that, I have to just not work it all to go to all the places.
Yes, it's about 6 to 10 a year.
Okay.
And we think for 2022, what we're looking to do are smaller because we're easing back into things. So we'll have more trips for 2022 and they'll be smaller. It's smaller in size of group.
So when you say size, we're talking 10 people, we're talking 20.
When we say small, we mean about 30 people, because you've been on our groups before. We've had over 100.
Right.
And it's a ball of fun. But I tell you one thing I discovered being here that I really think we want to squeeze in next year, and that is Yacht Week for Croatia next August. I'm quite sure I'm going to do it. I mean, it is a fabulous experience. They have some islands that's just the party.
Really?
Yes.
And so it's in the month of August, or you're making it?
No, the Yacht Week is in the first part of August, first couple of weeks of August, but we've decided we're coming back.
So explain this to me. So Yacht Week in Croatia is just everyone who has a yacht. You're on the Adriatic Sea and stopping at islands.
Well, yes. So you can if somebody is chartering a vessel, you can hop or buy into that. And all of these yachts get together, and it's just a lot of parties. And so there is a schedule and itinerary of yachts getting together and going to the islands that are party islands, or pooling the boats together. So in a general area, so that everyone can just have a grand time.
And listen, when I was in, when we were in Egypt and I don't know where it was it Egypt? No, Greece. Some of the yachts there were breathtaking. They were huge. They had helicopters. Some had 2 helicopters. I mean, I really was impressed. So you got to bring your A game. You have to bring your A game. So as we close things out, I have to ask you, Javon, and again, thanks for staying up 1 o'clock, your time there in Croatia. What are the 2 best places you've ever been?
Oh, I get asked that question all the time, and it's hard to narrow down. I'm a huge foodie. South Africa is an all-time favorite of mine. We go twice a year. We go to the jazz festivals there. I have such a connection with the people, and the culture is just one of my all-time favorites. And outside of that, I would say I love Italy. Italy is one of my favorite, especially Tuscany. And again, it's because it's fabulous food and wine.
Well, that is a great thing. Is there any places right now that Americans can't travel, whether it's due to COVID or just not the best place to go? And I'm talking about for 2021.
Well, certainly. And rather than me giving a list, because that list changes so rapidly,
Sure, sure.
especially as it relates to COVID, it's best to go to travel.state.gov. And
Great.
there you can see a list of destinations that they have warnings for Americans. And it's based on any reason, not just COVID, but it's based on any reason.
And
And what I am finding though is more and more countries are now saying vaccinated travelers only. So consider that.
yeah, really, really important. Again, Javon Harley, co-founder of Advantage International with her husband, Gene, who's with her, but off camera. I want to thank you today for tuning in and joining us. Oh, and by the way, real quick, you do a podcast. Where can they
Yes,
follow you for that?
that's traveling culturati. Again, that immersive travel experience, and we communicate that. And it's on Podbean, but also you can check us out on Sirius XM 141.
I love it. Javon Harley, thank you so very much, co founder of Advantage International, for this great, insightful information. Well, that is going to do it for tonight's program. You be safe returning back to the country from Croatia. I think your hometown is Chicago. So we look to hear from you more about where we can be, and maybe I'll be on that Greece trip for 2022. Well, everyone, thank you so very much for joining us. And listen, if you have a guest or show item, please email me. In the subject line, put a guest for Fiyah, FIYAH, and you can send it to Taylor Thomas, anchor at Gmail. Until next week, everyone, God bless and goodbye.